Hello, everyone. Happy Labor Day. I want to get started real quickly. I first want to go over my playoff takeaways so far from this past week. So, with Bucks versus Heat, the big phrase is what happens with Giannis. I know. Congrats to the Bucks for winning this game without Giannis for most of the game yesterday. But let's face it, they're not going to get through the series. They're not going to win it. So let's just assume they lose. So far I heard Miami, Golden State, and Toronto are favorites to land him in a trade scenario. If I had to include a few dark horse candidates, I would include Dallas and Brooklyn. But I think Miami would be the best fit because of their culture, and also he can remain a point forward because the other teams have their point guard basically. So I'll be having trouble figuring that out. But and if he goes to any of these teams, he becomes favorite. But hopefully he has a speedy ankle recovery. We'll see if he's available for Game 5 or not. But yeah, so Miami, shame on you for losing that game without Giannis for most of the game. But we'll see what happens in Game 5. Raptors versus Celtics. Now this is more like it. So I thought this was supposed to be a 7-game series. And with 0.5 seconds left in Game 3, I was about to be really wrong. But now the series tied up. My Game 7 prediction's looking pretty good right now. Lakers versus Rockets. Comes down to the benches. Now, don't get me wrong, Russell Westbrook had a horrible performance, but it's all about the benches. Rockets bench played better to Game 1, they won. The Lakers bench performed better in Game 2, so they won. So even if the stars from both teams get theirs, it comes down to the bench. So what? Now, who's going to be the better bench when it's all said and done? I'm not sure. I mean, on paper, Houston, but I mean, the Lakers bench steps up, and it'll be them. So I'm not sure, but we'll kind of see what happens. Clippers versus Nuggets. Off night Kawhi. So no sugarcoating it, Kawhi finally looks horrible in a playoff game. That's the only reason why Denver won. Kawhi is not usually going to perform like that in the playoffs, though, so I hope Denver enjoys their victory because the sweet feeling ain't going to last long. I still have the Clippers winning in 5 games. Unless Kawhi has another off performance like he did last night, but again, I don't see it happening. So now going on to college football, I made my top 5 picks for last week with one of them still needing to be in play tonight in BYU Navy. But I wanted to go over my results from last week before going over my top 5 games for this week. So to review last week real quick, I was wrong on the South Alabama pick. I picked Southern Miss to beat South Alabama pretty handily. I was wrong there, but I mean, South Alabama had not won a road game. Listen to this: they have not won a road game since 2017. So you can't blame me for picking Southern Miss there. Texas State surprisingly made it close with SMU. I thought SMU was going to blow them out, but Texas State made it close, so I'm not sure if that's more Texas State's better or SMU we should be more concerned about, because I picked them to be a sleeper pick to win the American Conference. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen anymore or not. But then Army, Army looks like they did in 2018, which is really good. But I mean, Middle Tennessee State's like, yeah. So we'll see them again this week, though. See if it's for real or not. And then Memphis winning, and at least I was right about Memphis. Not only Memphis winning, but kind of the margin, because I predicted for Memphis to win by 11. They won by 13, so pretty close. So hopefully I do better this week. So let's go over my top 5 games for this week. 5 is Tulsa versus Oklahoma State. A nice regional, local game here. I'm not sure about fan tents, but besides TCU, with them scheduling SMU for their non-conference opponent, Oklahoma State's the only P5 team that actually, I guess, and Georgia Tech are the only ones to schedule like good or decent non-conference schedule versus the other teams when they're playing a bottom feeder like UTEP or FCS type of team. So, but Oklahoma State, they return a lot of people on offense, especially their quarterback, running back, wide receiver trio. So I favor them easily. Like it might be slow getting off. Starting in the first half or so, but Oklahoma State will handle this one easily, 45-17. Duke versus Notre Dame. So a lot of people are high on Notre Dame this year with their schedule being tougher. Now they're in ACC for a full year versus just getting half the ACC games. But they have a top 5 quarterback, maybe even top 3 by some people, and this is a good showcase for to show Ian Book's Heisman candidacy. Now Chase Bryce, a Clemson transfer who won a game, played in a few games at Clemson. He won the starting job at Duke, so I'm not sure how much stock I'm going to put into that right now, just because I'm going to assume Duke doesn't have a lot of good weapons. I'm not going to put a lot of stock into it until I'm proven otherwise. So I'm going to have Notre Dame win this one pretty easily, 38-14. 3, Georgia Tech versus Florida State. Now, I don't expect Georgia Tech to improve much from last year, but since Florida State has a new head coach. Sorry, interruption there. But since Florida State has a new head coach, and that might give an advantage for Georgia Tech. But we'll see. I feel like it'll be slow, and I feel like this was a game where Florida State should win, but it's going to be close for some reason. But anyways, Florida State win 28-23. Syracuse versus North Carolina. Here we go. So here we go. North Carolina has been one of the darlings this past offseason. It's one of the teams that's going to improve the most, and I can understand why. But it all starts with them taking care of business, the teams that they should be. Because last year, that was not the case. Sometimes they were too kind of inconsistent. But North Carolina, I feel like they'll be slow in the first half and then kind of pick it up in the second half and win 28-14. And then last but not least, the game of the week. Let's go Clemson and Wake Forest. Now, Wake Forest definitely won't be as good as they were last year. That's for sure. They lost Jamie Newman. Their star wide receiver opting out of the season. That was a few key players. I don't expect them to be that good. But Clemson, I mean, last year they started off slow against a bad Georgia Tech team, so I wonder if they're going to have that same effect or not. So basically, I expect Clemson to start slow in the first half and to pick it up, and eventually Trevor Lawrence will, by the end of the game, will look like a Heisman game like it should be. So have them winning 35-16. So now for the moment we all been waiting for, it's my time to go over my NFL predictions before the season begins. So just real quick, this will be my only episode for this week because I'm going to be very busy. So I'm going to give my predictions for this upcoming NFL season. We'll see how close I get. So starting off in the AFC East, I have Buffalo winning division at 9-7. I have Miami. So Miami at 7-9. I have them being second, and I have New England being third at 4-12. Again, I'm not buying even if Cam Newton plays pretty well. There's no weapons. A lot of their defense players sit out. I finally can't trust New England at this point. I'm in the Jets at 3-13. I just feel like with Jamal Adams being gone and stuff, and them losing a bunch of key pieces. I mean, you have Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell, but other than that, you don't really have a lot of other people. So I don't think they're going to be able to do much. Okay, NFC North, got Baltimore win division at 13-3. And then Pittsburgh, I have second at 11-5. Now, originally, I thought Pittsburgh was going to be another 8-8 team like they were last year because I didn't know how Big Ben was going to come back from surgery. And I thought, while Pittsburgh's defense is elite, I thought their offense, even with Big Ben back, still is probably going to somewhat struggle. But, I mean, I've kind of changed my tune on them. I'll kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to have them at 11-5. And then Cleveland at third with 10-6. I feel like Baker Mayfield doesn't have to be an all-star, but if he just is at least starting caliber, just doesn't make mistakes and just plays within the offense, then Cleveland can take care of some of the losses they have from last year and they can win double-digit games. And then Cincinnati at 3-13. I mean, new quarterback, not a lot of time to prepare. I mean, it makes sense. But I expect Joe Burrow to put up some numbers, though, despite having that bad record. South, I have Indianapolis win division 12-4, mainly because their schedule's easy. They have a good offensive line, good weapons for Philip Rivers to use. Houston, I have in second with 9-7. Again, inconsistency there with the defense not being good as they once were, and with DeAndre Hopkins being gone. Tennessee, I have an average 8-8. I feel like those fools go with Ryan Tannehill and Tennessee's playoff success, so I'm not going to buy into that right now. Even though they just got Jadeveon Clyde, I'm still not buying into it. And then Jacksonville 115. They're tanking. They're obviously tanking. They should go 0-16 just for the heck of it. And then the West, I have Kansas City 13-3, winning the division there. Denver at 9-7. They're definitely going to be improved from last year. Kind of like how San Francisco took a pretty huge leap. Denver's not going to take as huge a leap as San Francisco, but as far as one of the teams to make the biggest leaps, if I were you, I'd pick Denver on that. LA Chargers have 7-9. Tyrod Taylor's a functional quarterback. Maybe Justin Herbert starts by the end of the season, and they got a good defense, but I just don't expect them to be a playoff caliber type team like some people think they will. And then Las Vegas, I have 3-13. Derek Carr's not the quarterback for John Gruden. It's just going to be a mess. They're still bad on defense, so yeah, I just don't trust them. Okay, NFC East, I have Dallas winning division at 10-6. Now, 10-6 for Dallas is the best case scenario, by the way, because they could go 9-7 or 8-8 like they usually do. But I'm going to have Dallas go 10-6. Philadelphia, I have 9-7 again. Carson Wentz, while he has talent, I still don't buy him as a top-tier quarterback quite yet. Plus, he may get injured again, so you never know. Washington at 2-14. Now Washington's defense will be good, and I feel like this 2-14 Washington will be in a lot of close games, but with Dwayne Haskins still needs more time to prove. I just don't see Washington has enough having offensive weapons for Haskins to be that good quite yet. And then Giants 1-15. Now I like what the new head coach is doing. Jason Garrett being there should help, but again, newer sophomore quarterback, and then new coach, new offensive coordinator. That's just not going to work out. And then NFC North, Green Bay have winning at 10-6. So obviously they're not going to be at 13-3. Like they got lucky to be 13-3 last year. That's not going to happen. But they'll be still playoff caliber. Minnesota I have at 8-8. Now I had Minnesota and Green Bay flipped just a couple weeks ago, but I kind of changed my mind on that because Minnesota did lose some, not only Stephon Diggs, but did lose some key pieces on the defense. Chicago I have 8-8. I'm surprised. Well, I guess I'm not surprised starting Trubisky because he has a better grasp of the offense right now, but don't be shocked if Nick Foles starts off later on. It just becomes a mess. And they Detroit 1-15. This will be the last year of Matthew Stafford. They just don't have enough pieces on defense. And then South, I got New Orleans winning division once again, 13-3. Tampa Bay I have next is 12-4. So Tampa Bay will start struggling at the beginning, but then they'll pick it up towards the end and look really good at the end. Atlanta and Carolina I have tied for third at 7-9. They're going to be a good 7-9, and if they're a different division or different conference, even the AFC, they might have another win or two. And then in the West, I have San Francisco winning division again at 12-4, and Seattle I have next second at 12-4 as well. Basically, kind of a similar situation last year. Comes down to who wins the second matchup between 49ers and Seattle, and I happen to be 49ers. Rams and Arizona actually have both tied at 8-8 because Arizona they drafted Isaiah Simmons, they improved their offense, getting DeAndre Hopkins. LA Rams they have a functional offense but bad defense. So, and with that being a tough division in general, I just feel like they're going to go 8-8. So now to go over my playoff predictions. So in the AFC, Kansas City is the number 1 overall seed because I have them being Baltimore in the regular season, so they get the wall. So they get to avoid a wild card. So then 2 seed Baltimore plays 7 seed Houston, and I have this one being close because Lamar Jackson's performing in the playoffs, and I have Baltimore winning by a field goal basically. 3 Indianapolis, 6 Cleveland. I feel like Phillip Rivers, his playoff experience in Indianapolis' roster in general will overcome Cleveland and their newness to the playoffs picture. Congrats to being there, but you're not going to win stuff. Indianapolis winning by 2 possessions. Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I have this being a close game, and I actually have Buffalo getting the upset here, but I feel Cleveland over Buffalo's 4 seed, 5 seed Pittsburgh. But so then you have 1 seed Kansas City versus 4 seed Buffalo. I'm gonna have Kansas City actually rout Buffalo there, even though Buffalo has a good defense and a capable offense. I just can't see routing them. And then 2 seed Baltimore versus 3 seed Indianapolis. It's really interesting because again, a really good team here. Will Lamar choke under the pressure? And this time, I feel like he will. He at least got to win the first round, but I feel like he's going to choke again. So I have Indianapolis winning by a field goal. So then for AFC Championship, you got Kansas City, Indianapolis. I have Kansas City winning that one comfortably. So now the NFC. So 2 seed San Francisco, have 1 seed is New Orleans, by the way. 2 seed San Francisco versus 7 seed Philadelphia. San Francisco wins this one easily by multiple possessions. 3rd seed Dallas, 6 seed Seattle. I have Seattle with the upset here by a field goal. 4 seed Green Bay versus 5 seed Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay winning by a touchdown in Lambeau Field. And in the semifinals, you have 1 seed New Orleans versus 6 seed Seattle. Will be a close game, but I have New Orleans winning within a field goal. San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. This one will be a super close game. This will be like one of the best playoff games. I have Tampa Bay winning by 1 point. And then Conference Championship, New Orleans, Tampa Bay rematch for a 3rd time. I have New Orleans winning by field goal. So then I still have my Kansas City, New Orleans matchup in the Super Bowl like I've had this whole time with Kansas City winning by a touchdown. So that part remains the same. But yeah, so we'll see how the NFL goes this season. Looking forward to the kickoff on Thursday. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell everyone about me. Leave comments for me, what you like for me to talk about in the future. Thank you very much. Again, y'all have a wonderful Labor Day. I'll see y'all next week.